Lo venía demostrando. Yo lo que acaba de comentar es el mejor primer tiempo que yo le he visto a Rusia, motivado, con buena actitud, recuperando el balón y llegando al área de la selección mexicana.
Y aquí viene el Tri ahora en busca del empate. Este resultado lo elimina del campeonato. La trae Héctor Moreno, lo estamos viviendo por Telemundo, la cadena del Mundial. La entrega mal el Chucky Lozano, Samedov, el autor del gol. Lo hace correr a Bukarov. No va a llegar Samedov del Spartak Moscú, jugando su partido 42. Acaba de convertir el sexto gol en su carrera internacional. ¿Y qué gol? El que le da por ahora la clasificación y la tranquilidad al equipo de Rusia. Chicharo que lucha con Glushakov, le comete falta abajo y el tiro libre para México, que se tiene que serenar y volver a meter en el partido.
Es un cuadro que tiene reacción, sabe jugar cuando va abajo en el marcador, tienen carácter. Ahora hay que tener esa tranquilidad, meterse al partido y volver a hacer lo que tanto les gusta, por los costados atacar.
Lo demostró contra el campeón de Europa en el debut, 2 veces abajo estuvo de Portugal. A propósito, ¿qué pasa con Portugal? 0-0, 27 minutos en San Petersburgo contra Nueva Zelanda. Mire usted, ¿quién lo iba a decir? Herrera para Diego Reyes. Araujo, qué pelota sacó Ochoa.
Es que fueron 3 remates, el del poste, después el contrarremate, que muy bien los reflejos.
Los reflejos, fue de reacción ese balón.
Reyes, Vela, Diego Reyes. El balón cruzado para Héctor Moreno. Tiene todo el espacio del mundo. Va a tomar marca Erokin. Yo no puedo creer que Erokin siga jugando. ¿Se acuerda, Manolo, que contra Portugal jugó? Fue el peorcito de Rusia. Y hoy otra vez está dejando... No marca, no porque haya errado aquel remate. Y aquí está Smolov. La gente festeja cada vez que el 9, el goleador del campeonato ruso, toma la pelota. Dicen que tiene destinos alemán. El número 9 dijo que hasta después del torneo va a hablar de su futuro. Moreno. André Guardado. Desde la amarilla, Guardado no volvió a tocar la pelota. Herrera que la dejaba pasar. Digo esto como una cuestión, me parece, anímica más que todo, ¿no? Como que no se la puede sacar la amarilla de la cabeza.
Pero nadie aparece en media cancha, que eso es lo que ahorita es preocupante, porque necesitan tener fluidez en media cancha, hacerlos jugar por los costados, pero el equipo ruso se mete muy bien. Miren, todos están atrás de media cancha.
Arranca el Chucky, va. Se le mueve Chicharito, el balón para Jonathan dos Santos, tiene paz para pensar, pateó al arco, se debía la pelota en Golovin, le van a cobrar mano al 17 de Rusia, tiro libre, y dígame, Manolo Sol, ¿le gusta Andrés Guardado al arco de aquí?
Me gusta Andrés Guardado, tiene toda la oportunidad, está en una muy buena posición a todo su perfil izquierdo.
¿Y a usted le gusta Carlos Vela de aquí?
A mí me gusta más Carlos Vela, por este costado.
A ver quién le pega, no hay balones, los escondieron. Pide la pelota Guardado. Le reclaman al árbitro y hablan con Vela. A ver, puede empate para la mexicana. La pelota la pidió Andrés Guardado. Andrés.
Still no Portuguese breakthrough, but his charisma. Aimed again at Ronaldo. This time he couldn't get up high enough, and when he came down, his hand was in the air, suggesting perhaps that he thought that there was a push. The referee indicating that it was a white-shirted defender responsible for the penalty box collision. Danilo was on the receiving end. Just a great big pile-up. Smith closest to him, certainly had hands on him. And Cristiano Ronaldo is preparing himself. His recent penalty record actually not immaculate. He's missed 3 of his last 4. It's a big moment in the life of one Stefan Marinovic against the world's best. A goalkeeper from the German 4th tier. Ronaldo cracks it high and home. And Portugal have their overdue lead. His 75th international goal takes him up another rung in the international ladder of greatness. He picked his corner, found his corner. Marinovic not even in the same frame. Familiar story, familiar face. Anticipated scoreline, a Portuguese lead. And given that Mexico have equalised against Russia in Kazan and Portugal have just taken this lead, the look of Group A has altered markedly, and at the moment it is the hosts who have slipped into third spot. So Russia now have it to do, and Portugal are on top of the group. On Eliseu by Lewis. We're in front of a one-man wall, that's Rojas. A one-man wall that becomes two. Quaresma to the back post, headed away as far as Bruno Alves. Out again by Wood. Silva. Silva. Snatched out by Boxhall. It's come to Wood, and New Zealand actually want to make a change here. Michael McGlinchey is being withdrawn, and without apparent discomfort, one can only assume that this is tactical, as he is replaced by Bill Tuiloma, who's been playing for Marseille's reserves in France and who comes on here for the third time in the competition as a substitute. He's arrived more or less on the hour mark in each of the first two games, barely past the half-hour mark this time. Hoisted towards Quaresma, seen by Ingham. First involvement for Tuiloma. Quaresma, that's clever. Eliseu, pull back for Bernardo Silva to double the Portuguese lead at some personal cost. It's hurt him, but it's hurt New Zealand too. The referee has a couple of notes to make here, principally notes of a second Portuguese goal, scored adeptly by Bernardo Silva, but in addition he needs to take note of the nature of the challenge on the goal scorer, which was a mite desperate from Tom Doyle, who goes into the book. He was simply a yard and a half ahead of his opposite number, Bernardo Silva. his second international goal, added to one he scored against Gibraltar at the start of September. It might be his last kick of the game. He'll be keen to build on that if he can. And suddenly it all looks rather safe and straightforward for the European champions. Tuiloma, who'd only just come onto the field in time to witness that second goal. Rojas. Tuiloma. Wood was behind Pepe, who made good his clearance. This is Ingham. He can't get past Eliseuerda, and Quaresma clears. Ronaldo. Well, Anthony Hudson has spoken with such evident self-belief about the direction in which the New Zealand team is moving. He is very hopeful that he might be carrying them to the World Cup finals here next year. They have, at the start of September, a home and away playoff against the Solomon Islands, whereby they are favourites to progress as the team from Oceania. But then they would have to go through a further intercontinental playoff against the fifth-place team from South America, which is currently Argentina. As things stand, Argentina, the biggest impediment between New Zealand and next year's World Cup, though that, of course, could change. Portugal's qualification is by no means certain, and when you see Ronaldo going through his little dancing routine like that, you would regret his absence. Here's Danilo. Quaresma. Oh, it's beautifully shaped, just too far in advance of Andre Silva. Kept in by Moutinho. Rolled for Semedo. Moutinho combining with Bernardo Silva. And their exchange is smart. And it needed a full stretch challenge from Ryan Thomas to deny Moutinho a clear pullback. Ronaldo had delayed his run, was checking and preparing to make a menace of himself. Moutinho and Bernardo Silva understand each other impeccably. Quaresma's corner aimed at Danilo, who this time is the guilty party with a penalty area push. The man who was fouled for the penalty which led to Portugal's first goal is this time the fouler. Box all away from Andre Silva. Eliseu juggling. Semedo. Quaresma. Ronaldo. You can understand why Andre Silva wanted a free kick, given that he's more or less had the shirt ripped from his back. Danilo. And by Durante. Rojas. It's going to come back by Eliseu. Moutinho. Semedo. Ronaldo wanted it rolled in. Semedo preferred to have a pop, whilst Andre Silva suggests or asks of the referee exactly what has to happen in order for me to get a free kick. Yeah, that was a rather hostile coming together. Was new on today. Rojas, Wood, Doyle. Ronaldo by Boxall. Ronaldo, incidentally, with his penalty 7 or 8 minutes ago, became the joint second all-time European international goal scorer. He's now on 75, the same as the great Hungarian Kostas Sándor. Only Ferenc Puskás has scored now more international goals for a European nation than Cristiano Ronaldo. Tuiloma. Smith. Doyle's give and go. But the New Zealand wing-backs are really struggling to get goal side of the Portuguese full-backs. But here's a chance for Doyle perhaps to progress. And feed it for Wood, who scythed at his shot and got impure contact. Ingham. Rojas. Let it roll away. A hand of apology from Pepe for his brief defensive lapse, which invited in Wood. Well, he must have had a few bits and pieces to write down. This was quite a project for Anthony Hudson. Wood. Tuiloma. Was kicked from Thomas, dug out by Durante. Clayton Lewis, Wood, Rojas. Rojas trying to feed it through for Wood. Came back to Tuiloma. Well, it wasn't routine for a while. Took more than 20 minutes really for Portugal to take control, but once they had taken control, they certainly maintained it. Ronaldo's penalty after 34 minutes established their lead, and very soon thereafter Bernardo Silva had doubled that lead. There might have been more, but Portugal content themselves with a 2-0 half-time lead. Semedo. Quaresma, Coutinho, Ronaldo, Pizzi, Silva, Coutinho, Quaresma let it roll, Semedo, Quaresma, lifted out by Smith. There is Bernardo Silva, bit of ice on there. Nice, a little bit more. It's fairly well wrapped up. Fernando Santos prowling and claiming the throw-in, and he's got his way. Quaresma. Ronaldo might have moved it on one more for Pizzi, chose not to. And Boxhall got between them. Forward again by Eliseu, welcomed in by Ronaldo. Nicked away for Ryan Thomas. He fed it quickly for Doyle. All the way past Pepe. Twiloma, caught on it by Moutinho, who had to wait for Ronaldo to get onside. Quaresma wins a corner last off Tommy Smith. With the creative influence behind one Portuguese goal already. And now in charge of another set piece. Quaresma with whip, away as far as Moutinho, who stabs it into the arms of Stefan Marinovic. Portuguese World Cup qualification isn't certain. They're in a tight tussle with Switzerland to come top of their group. Portugal lost the opening game of that group in Basel, and like Switzerland have won the rest, and it does look as though it's going to come down to the very last game of the group, which is Portugal's home game against Switzerland. Runners up into a playoff, so all will not be lost for the losers of that game. Nasty work for Ingham, whose cross was comfortably repelled by Bruno Alves. Ingham and Lewis combining down the right side for New Zealand. Coached in America and in England at junior levels with Tottenham, with Newport County. He's coached Bahrain. And his team have a long throw taken by Tuiloma. Stolen out towards Silva. Bundled forward onto the head of Bruno Alves. And Danilo, now Eliseu. That's a fabulous diagonal for Ronaldo, whose first touch is tidy, who has Quaresma with him, who was desperate to get away a shot of his own. Moutinho, Danilo, Pizzi, Quaresma, corner. Quaresma without swing. Helped on its way by Clayton Lewis, who chases his own pass. New Zealand had left nobody upfield for that corner. Moutinho closed down by Rojas. Might Might have sniffed a little bit of panic momentarily then. Rui Patricio away. Coutinho. Semedo won it for Danilo. Pizzi. Ronaldo denied it by Tuiloma's adept and very necessary read. He's done particularly well there, the New Zealand substitute. Free kick against Eliseu. Ronaldo, I suggest, thought he was more or less in here. He picked out a lovely pocket of space, but look how well Tuiloma gets ahead of him. Williams' throw. Good muscling for space. Played it last off Eliseu. Tuiloma can wander over to wind up another of his long throws. And that invites Smith forward from centre half. Boxall is in there as well. Wood right on the goalkeeper's toes. Flung in by Tuiloma. Smith looking to nudge it on. Eliseu out. 6'2", Tommy Smith. It's been 4 years since he scored an international goal. Tuiloma is aiming at him again, and Smith's won the header. But Pepe knew where to be. Quaresma carries it out. Pepe went flying through. He and Doyle went shin for shin. And neither has come out of it any better than they went into it. My instinct is that it was an honest race for the ball. The referee, though, is displeased with Pepe and is taking his name. And that means that Pepe will not play the semi-final. His second yellow card of the competition, picked one up against the Russians as well. And yeah, there was a high-ish stud there. Suspension then for Pepe. Jose Font will be tying his boots up. Or indeed Luis Neto. And so Quaresma just ran out of pitch. First 10 or 11 minutes of the second half, relatively alarm-free for New Zealand. It ought to be a routine exercise for Portugal from now on in. New Zealand still to win a match in a major international tournament. This their 12th Confederations Cup tie in their 4th participation at such a competition. And assuming there's no miracle comeback, they will be drawn 1, lost 11. At the moment, they've scored 3 goals and conceded 30 in Confederations Cup football, but those damning statistics are no reflection of where he is taking the team, nor indeed is it a reflection of their faith in a team that is developing fast, and which in a rugby-mad country has a posse of its own very passionate support. Played in by Doyle. 7 years ago today, actually, New Zealand drew 0 with Paraguay in Polokwane at the last World Cup to complete an unbeaten campaign, drew all 3 games, and but for a bit of mathematical jiggery-pokery and the odd slide rule, they might easily have made it to the knockout stage of the competition. Didn't quite work out that way, but they can proudly say that they finished in their World Cup group ahead of the then world champions, the outgoing world champions Italy, who only got 2 points. Rojas, Doyle, Wood! Oh, Rui Patricio right on the line. Doesn't get closer than that. The big moment of the game for New Zealand. Doyle with an immaculate ball into the corridor. Wood got there, but so did Rui Patricio. And indeed, so with him did Bruno Alves. Ryan Thomas calls for some New Zealand confidence. Thomas again. It's come down for Ingham. Cleared as far as Tuiloma, and then properly out by Eliseu for Ronaldo, who stayed forward. Quaresma. It's good read by Smith. Out by Doyle. Rojas. Pepe sturdy in the tackle again. Semedo. Ronaldo! And Ronaldo again. It was a sharp reaction for Marinovic, it had to be. The ball was close to the goalkeeper, but my goodness me, it was travelling, as it tends to do when it leaves Ronaldo's forehead. It was a whip of a header. Seven shots on goal for Portugal. The latest Chris Wood one doesn't count as such for New Zealand. Ronaldo's header certainly was goal-bound. Just a flick, a muscular flick from Cristiano Ronaldo. With that hyper-developed neck of his, it flew at the goalkeeper, who barely had time to react. And here was the moment Chris Wood just might have changed the dynamic. It was a near prohibitive angle. Cleared by Lewis, held up by Wood, moved on by Tuiloma. Welcomed back by Quaresma. Coutinho's giveaway to Ryan Thomas. Wood didn't want it yet. He was wary of an offside flag. And he would have been so he was right to ignore it. Handball against Moutinho. Rojas will take the free kick. For New Zealand, who have just less than half an hour to make their mark. Rojas. That's a good claim by Rui Patricio. Fernando Santos has resisted the temptation to give any of the backup goalkeepers a game today. Semedo, Moutinho, Quaresma, just too much for Silva, and lifted away by Daningham. Eliseu, Danilo, Moutinho, Pepe, Quaresma, Moutinho, Silva. That's a good stop. Andre Silva perhaps helped the goalkeeper by firing it pretty straight. Regardless, not for the first time in the second half, Stefan Marinovic has stood up strong, delayed his dive, and when he did make his dive, timed the movement of that bottom hand just right. Meantime, another New Zealand change as Clayton Lewis gives way to Costa Barbarouses. Moutinho, Semedo. So, Pixie. Silva, Quaresma. Second really sharp stop of the second half from Stefan Marinovic. The first of those came from Cristiano Ronaldo. And the good news for all insomniac New Zealanders who've stayed up into the wee small hours to watch this game is that the biggest potential thorn in your side, Cristiano Ronaldo, is, I gather, about to be withdrawn. Danilo, Moutinho, Pizzi, taken out by Rojas, taken on by Thomas. Barbarouses just tried to over-elaborate, barely into the action. Couldn't find a route round Pepe. And Cristiano Ronaldo, having hit his 75th goal for Portugal, He's afforded the last 25 minutes or so with his feet up, preparing for an upcoming semi-final. Great thrill for New Zealand to play against him. Perhaps an even greater thrill for New Zealand to see the back of him. And Nani comes on here to win his 110th cap, which makes him jointly the third most capped Portuguese international of all time. Ronaldo sits down, Tuoloma delivers the throw. Hooked forward by Smith and hit by Barbarosas, close enough for comfort to Rui Patricio. Smith's made some mischief in the opposition penalty area when he's had the opportunity. He's brought them a long way, has Anthony Hudson. He has help from an Englishman, Peter Taylor, another Englishman of a similar vintage to Fernando Santos. Taylor, who has actually once been manager of England as a caretaker, the 64-year-old who's involved with a small club in the southeast of England called Gillingham, but was in charge of England in the year 2000 for one game and was responsible for making David Beckham captain. So he made his mark and lost a friendly 1-0 in Turin. Lifted over the top for Semedo, played in towards Silva, and thumped goalward by Nani, who was denied a goal with what was probably his first touch, again by the reflex of Marinovic. It changed direction, and so to some extent did the goalkeeper. Coming through a crowd, flicking off Boxall. In by Quaresma, and out by Danilo. Thomas. And so not keen to let him past. Moutinho, Pizzi, Quaresma one way, Silva the other, Nani charging up through the middle. Here's Ricardo Quaresma. It's a really important defensive header from Tommy Smith. Shoulder to shoulder here with Nani, who felt he was fouled. Smith was certainly taking no prisoners. Almost as broad as he's tall. Whipped in by Pizzi, out by Wood. Quaresma, all the way past Barbarosas. Last 20 minutes of the game. Nani. Pizzi. There's a lovely thought from Moutinho, who was in fact fouled just outside the penalty area. Pizzi prevented from competing for the return pass by Smith's block. Quaresma's set piece. A few more skillful over a dead ball. In by Quaresma. Punched out by Marinovic. Chased up by Moutinho. And given a good old-fashioned clout by Dane Ingham. See that, Dad? Sign him up. Nani. Barbarouses. Good hands, really good hands. Akinfeev has competition to keep goal for Russia. Well, now there's a change here for New Zealand, which is going to require either a positional alteration or a reshuffle of personnel, because one of the centre-halves, Andrew Durante, has been withdrawn. And Shane Smeltz, an out-and-out striker, has replaced him. And he's run it out. And it does appear to me that New Zealand have gone for a back four now, with Tuiloma just in front of the two centre-halves for Anthony Hudson. Well won by Tuiloma. Rojas. Tuiloma. Wood couldn't get there. And a free kick is given. It's been a really good physical battle, this, actually, between Wood and Pepe. A little nudge from Wood. And a very healthy crowd in today. Weekend, of course, party weekend in St. Petersburg, as I mentioned in the first half, and in excess of 56,000 people inside the stadium. And so Nani, Pizzi, Nani, Wood won it well. Barbarouses, Smeltz, Wood, why not? And Patricio had to tumble. Decent enough connection from Chris Wood, but without the zest to trouble a top keeper. Quaresma. Danilo. Eliseu! Touched by Marinovic. Who gets rid in a hurry. Good win again by Pepe. Pepe again, suspended for the semi-final, as indeed he was in the European Championships, actually, Pepe. He played 6 of the 7 games, but missed the semi-final against Wales because of yellow card accumulation. Both fullbacks for Portugal have shown a preparedness to have a crack from distance. Schmaltz. Smith. Barbarosas. Wood. Doyle. Lifted forward by Thomas. Comfortably out by Bruno Alves. Sweet from Pizzi. And Nani has an awful lot of space now. He's Boxall's problem. Nani just couldn't shape it as he dreamt. Made a mug of Tuiloma, did Pizzi. And left Nani with half the field to run into. He twisted the blood of Boxall, but didn't twist the ball as he'd intended. Don't want to be accused of dabbing the New Zealand team with faint praise, but it has been, assuming nothing goes horribly wrong in the last 10 or 12 minutes, a very respectable campaign for them in a pretty tough group. Be lovely for them if they could get another goal to crown it all with. Gone are the days when they were perhaps easy beats. Mentioned the 2010 World Cup where they did very well. 35 years since their only other World Cup in Spain, where they conceded 5 goals to Scotland, 3 to the Soviet Union, and 35 years ago yesterday, 4 to Brazil. Here's Silva. He's gone all the way, Andre Silva, who scored a belting goal. Fizzed into the top corner to take Portugal through beyond all reasonable doubt. A goal of classic Portuguese flair, of the sort that he would appreciate. Quaresma won it for him. 50 yards separated him from goal. He ran 40 of them and belted it in the last 10. Here's an enviable international goal-scoring record so early in his career for Portugal. That's 8 in 11. Got a nick off the goalkeeper's desperate arm. And truth be told, that's probably a more realistic reflection of Portugal's superiority. Pizzi fouled. And the yellow card is out for Dane Ingham. Worth acknowledging too that these goals for Portugal are of significance, because with Mexico leading Russia, Portugal's superior goal difference will be the deciding factor in establishing who wins the group, and Portugal, as things stand, will be on top. Barbarouses, Rojas, Barbarouses, away by Eliseu. That's an adventurous strike from Marco Rojas, but it flew high. Another Portuguese change, their third and final, and Gelson Martins is, for the third game in 3, coming off the bench. Ricardo Quaresma, the player replaced. Mutual appreciation. 7 minutes to play. Martins, Silva, Martins, Pizzi, Semedo, Martins, he's got goal side, Silva, and again, deflected behind for a corner. New Zealand looking fatigued here, as well they might be, pulled hither and thither by Portugal's passing. No Quaresma, so it's Pizzi's corner. Danilo around the back. Silva back in. Away by Boxall. That's a nice take from Wood. Barbarouses, stolen from him by Eliseu, and he went to get it back. And Barbarouses has played it early. And he's picked out Ryan Thomas. And Thomas played it in, and Danilo shifted it behind. A handful in this New Zealand team who've really enhanced their reputations over the course of the last week or so. Ryan Thomas is one of those. Rojas with the corner. Patricio came for it and didn't claim. He's still looking a bit dazed, actually. Danilo rolls it out for Portugal. Nani's pass was short. Doyle's return pass didn't find its target, and Rui Patricio needs a bit of attention here. A bit groggy. Not so much the collision with another body, perhaps, as his crash to earth. He backed into Bruno Alves, and then it was a jarring fall. That's why he's receiving attention, a chance to have a proper detailed look at how the Group A table is shaping up now. Mexico still with a lead, a 1-goal lead over Russia in Kazan. So the hosts have a problem, and as mentioned, these 3 Portugal goals mean that they have a superior goal difference and look as though they're going to win the group. But amongst the neutrals in this vast crowd, and indeed the committed, a great ambience of interest and excitement and enjoyment. A couple of Zenit St. Petersburg tops there. Inside the last 3 minutes of the 90, to which the early indications are 3 further minutes will be appended. Tuiloma's throw, Boxall's up for it. Tuiloma again. Wood round the back. Rui Patricio flapping and dropping, and they still can't force it home. Boxall denied by Eliseu. He's in the wars, the Portuguese goalkeeper. Once more, he's occupying the same square foot of grass as Bruno Alves. For a moment, Boxall's eyes lit up, but Patricio had enough about him to keep it out. Nice footwork from Rojas, but he's not quite clever enough to get through the lot of them. Silva, Nani. Another foul by Doyle, who has been booked. Portugal quickly on with the free kick. Martins. Semedo. Overran it. Been a good outing for the two alternative fullbacks for Portugal today, Semedo and Eliseu. In the absence of Cedric and Guerrero. So we head into stoppage time, of which there is, we can now confirm, 3 minutes. Silva. Nani. 4! Spearing finish from Nani. And Portugal, in the end, have strolled away with it. A goal worth taking a picture of. Right at the start of stoppage time. The substitute winning his 110th cap tonight. Made himself a yard, flung his left foot through it, and left New Zealand's goalkeeper without a prayer. That's the difference, and the difference now is 4. And it suddenly feels like hard work rather than necessarily a privilege for these New Zealanders. Thomas, Wood, Schmeltz, Barbarouses, he's got it back, oh, and he's lifted it over. It was a beautifully neat exchange. Some of the best football that Anthony Hudson's team have played in the final seconds of the game. Barbarousa's exchanging with Smelts. The top corner begged him to find it. Find it he could not. Martins, Nani, Pizzi, Silva, came out again to Pizzi, Eliseu, Nani, out by Boxall. Some Portuguese silver, some Portuguese gold. Bernardo Silva and Andre Silva with 2 of the goals. Cristiano Ronaldo and Nani, 2 of the golden players of their golden generation, with the others. And in the end, it was routine for Fernando Santos and his men, who will stride into the semi-finals as Group A winners. Off the back, despite the best efforts of Wood at one end of the field and Marinovic at the other for New Zealand, will stride into the semi-finals on top of the group, having romped away in the end here to a victory over the All Whites by 4 goals to 0.
Sorry, Tata.
Save your seat and unwind with the Seagram's Royal Stag Mega Cricket Cup powered by Cycle Pure Agarbattis. West Indies versus India. Second ODI tomorrow 5:45 PM onwards. Live and exclusive. Co-presented by India's hooked on idea 4G, India's big network, Amazon, India ke sapno ki apni dukaan, and new Samsung Galaxy J7 Max. Life is now. In association with Byju's, the learning app. Download the free app today. FIFA Confederation Cup Russia 2017. Germany versus Cameroon. Tomorrow 8:30 PM. Live on 10-1.
Welcome back, as we now have our 2 semi-finalists, our first 2 semi-finalists rather. Mexico booking their place in the last 4 with a 2-1 win over Russia